Hey guys, my name is Zeniac and welcome back to another City Skyline experimental video where today I want to find out what is the most efficient way to export your goods from your industries. Now I don't mean like how to get as many goods out as quick as possible. I want to find out of the train, the cargo airport, the cargo harbour, the three main ways in which you export your goods. Just forget about the way how we can drive it out of the region. Let's just forget about that for now, because one of these is going to complement that format. But out of those three formats, which one makes you the most money, aka the most efficient? Now, I built a little starter city up right now, and it's a little bit of a mess, but the main aim of this is not the city, it is the actual export areas. And basically, we're going to create two industries at opposite sides of this little mini city. So this city there is just pretty much to support the industries. Then we're going to see what it bottom out at by the simple exportation to the businesses and then driving outside of the region. So I've got a couple of roads set up right now. We do have a little bit of traffic here and there, but the city is rapidly growing, so we should expect to see that decline over time. So ignore all this. I know it's all a mess. That's not the point of this experiment. So once we know what it kind of bottoms out at, so let's say it's making 20,000 a week profit from the industries, then perfect, brilliant. And then what we'll do is we'll build one by one the free export kind of settings. So we've got the train cargo, the plane cargo, the ship cargo. And out of those three, once you know what our bottom line is, we'll see which one makes us the most money. Now, there's going to be different things kind of hooked up to this. As we're going to be seeing which one can ship the higher amount of goods. So you're probably thinking, oh, ships can do that. Then trains, then planes. But then you're going to think, how slow is a ship versus how quick is a plane and how quick is a train to get outside of the region. So there's a lot of things working against one another in those three kind of export areas. But I want to see which one is the quickest, most efficient and fastest way to make money from exporting your goods. So then when you are building your cities, you kind of then know what you want to try and focus on as your first export, or maybe just kind of create your whole city to be the export. Now, granted, before we do jump into this experiment, nothing is going to be having all three in your city anyway. And obviously, it all comes down to where you position them in your city close to the export areas. But we're going to set it up and be as fair as possible, having an industry both sides. Then up here, I'll buy this tile. We'll place all three of them together, so one can't be favored over the other. And then we'll turn two off, turn one of them on, and go through it each way to see which one gradually makes us more money. That was one big intro, guys. That was one big intro right now, but that is the gist of it, that what we're trying to create. So let's jump straight into this then. So I do need to build two industries, and I think what we'll do is we'll go for an oil industry, and we'll go for let's go for a farming industry, okay? So we'll go with both of those then, and what we're going to do then is we're going to sell it all up. Now, the great thing about this is, right, you can argue, Zeniac, it's how you position the export areas and all that kind of jazz and how efficient you make the export areas. But the great thing about this kind of experiment is it's not based off that. If they're all placed in the same location and I don't edit, I don't add anything new or change anything to or from any of them, then we'll just see an increase or we will see a decrease. So that's the great thing about it. You can't really base it off where you place it. It's wherever it is, turn the building on, turn the building off, and we'll see if our money increases or drops. So that's the great thing about it. So we'll do the farming there because it's a bigger road, more space needed, and we'll do the oil over here. So oil, we'll quickly set up now. We'll do a nice little big brush area. There we go. So we kind of just drop that there. Farming we'll do just here. Great. And then we'll just loosely now build some type of road network. So if I come out by 20, go down. Up by 20 there, go up, down to there. Again, it's a very loose network just to kind of get enough stuff set up to where we have, you know, a form of industry. So I'd do it to a point. Well, that went a little bit weird there, didn't it? I do it to a point where it's, you know, it's decent, it's self-sufficient, it makes money, and then we'll just leave it and see where it kind of bottoms out. So if I kind of do the same over here, we'll go a little bit longer on this one because we have technically more buildings to work with our farming industry. We have the normal fields, then we have the animals and stuff like that. So we have quite a different range of stuff for this industry. That one a little bit wonky, but I'm going to leave it as that. So I want to try and build it as quick as possible so we can really maximize this experiment. Okay, there they go. So we'll start with the oil industry. We'll place down its main building, which I'll drop pretty much here. And what we'll do is we'll place, now we can have up to, right, each worker barracks gives an efficiency of 5%. Which means we can have a maximum of 100% efficiency, meaning that we can have 20 worker barracks. Now, they are quite expensive, so what I'll do is I'll place 10 down for each one. Then that way they have the same amount of efficiency. So we can then start to pump quite a few goods out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then we'll add in our maintenance building, and then from here I'm going to use the large drills. So drop a couple of these down. And how much are they costing me a piece? 20,000. So, okay, so drop a load of these down there. We'll go for some smaller ones here that cost us 8,000 a piece. Boom, 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 boom. And then we'll get a load of our production buildings down. So I'm going to go for the larger production buildings. So go 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do the other one, the refineries here. We'll do 1, 2, 3. And then storage buildings, 1 there, 1 there. So I need to put all the water down and stuff like that. So this will be now then our oil industry. So as long as I don't touch it after this point, we can then find out what it bottoms out to for how much it makes us. And then we'll see what differences change when we add in our export areas. So that's the power, that's the water then added in. So fast forward then. Am I missing water there? Oh snap, there's a little bit here that needed water. Right, there we go. Leave it as it is, boys. Leave it as it is. And then for the farming, do the exact same thing real quick right now. We set up our main building. And then we want 10 of these. I always forget I got to do the district. Right, so you want 10 of these then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then the maintenance building. And then we'll go for the large fields here to begin with. So go 1, 2, 3. We'll do the large of the fruit ones. Because again, it's a different type of industry altogether. 2. And I've run out of money. I think I did get a loan as well when I was playing around with this, trying to get it all set up. Yeah, we got the big boy loan. But if I take these 2 loans, there we go. Got some money back in the bank. 3 there. And then we'll get the animal pastures set up next then. So 1, 2, hold on, 3. And then we need our, well, we'll do the storage next. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll go for 3 there. And then we'll get the pipes down. So I am low on money again. But that's okay because we can work through this and towards upping our goal. So all I'm missing there for the farming area is the production buildings. So we'll get that in just a memento. So straight over to there. Give them the power. Boom, boom, boom. Kaboom. Sweet, 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 sweet. Okay, then, there we go. So, back to the industries then. So, the production buildings. So, we need the slaughterhouse here, which is 16,000. Let's try and get 2 of these bad boys down. So, 1, 2. And then the milking parlour, which is 14,000 a pop. I'll squeeze just over here. So, 1, 2. Right, okay, let's leave it as that then. And then whatever money that they both now make once they bottom out, then that's a really good accurate representation to where we currently are. And then it's all down then to when I place down the export areas. So we'll put them, and this is what I mean by it doesn't really matter if I place them in the actual industries. That's not what we're trying to go for. We're not trying to find out how much money we can make altogether. I just want to see what's the most efficient one out of the three of them. So if I use this road and bring it up and place all of them within the same circle here, and then turn two of them off, leave one on, see where that maxes out at, then turn that off, turn a different one on, see where that maxes out at, and then we'll just see which one we'll see which one makes us the most money. Then we can kind of deem it's the most efficient in that way. I don't know why it's so difficult for me to explain this. I think I'm trying to make it clear, right, guys? I think I did. I don't even know anymore. What is the real life? What is real life? So money's coming in thick and fast, and to kind of help us out, we are now going to buy a little bit more land up here. So I'll buy a couple there, just so it makes it a little bit easier for us to now place stuff down. So I do have to bring a train line in. I'm going to have to bring a shipping route in as well. So it's all really big stuff we now have to build. But if I focus on first bringing this road up to here, and then we'll set up, pretty much you can go in 3 directions. So you either take this road here, and again, I've got to make sure that I do it in a way where it's like fair. So if I go this road here, and we'll go by 80, right, and if I go up by another 20, then if I make this road here by 60, right, you kind of see where this is kind of going, and then I do another 20, and then what I do then is we get the road here, so that's 80, 60, and then we do this one 40. So basically what I'm saying, to get to the end of this point, so say you're at this junction, to get down to there is 80. To get to that one, you go up by 20 plus 60 is 80. To get to up there, it's 40 plus 40 is 80. So it's 80 to get to each point. Now, you could argue, but don't have to stop and start here. Yeah, they will do, but that's just down to generic traffic. You could argue then, like, they're going to be stopping and starting down all of these, so, you know, they'll arrive at different times. I just want to make it so, you know, the drive time to get there is borderline the same, give or take, you know, a minute or two, depending on what the traffic is. So if I put an export area on each of these roads, again, we're then trying to maximize how similar those export areas are going to be, so we're not favoring one over the other, if that makes sense. I think it does. I think it does. So leaving that as it is, right, we are going to make sure that I'm going to pause it all, and we'll start with the planes, placing this one down first. And what we'll do the largest version of them. So I know I can do like a small cargo airport, but we're going to go for the big boy cargo hub. And then we'll place this then over here, or should we place it down here? We'll place it over on this side there because it is quite a large building. And then we'll go to the trains, the cargo train terminal. We'll place just here. And then there we'll do the shipping, but of course I need water. Now make sure that these are not going to be used. We turn them off from the get-go. There we go. And then what we're going to do now then is use a little bit of terraforming. And then we're going to make this area sink. So put it down to 0. There we go. Bring that out. It's got nice and smooth to the edges right there because I didn't want to do it as bad as that. And then down here, we just literally bring this out and we're creating a big shipping lane. Right, which I'm going to have to buy a little bit more. But if I up the brush size a tad more, and then once we get to like this point here, we can then I can open up the sea. There we go. And then just after and above it and around, we'll go this way. So make the shipping line continue like normal. Okay. And then let me just bring this down again. Just enough so I can push this up so we can work with our area. Sweet, mate. And if I just simply reset to sea level, there we go. We have the water then in. Okay? Sweet. So, back to here then, and then back to the shipping. Our big boy cargo hub, I want to place down here. But of course, I've got to kind of then anarchy it in for the sake of getting it to work. But it looks like this is going to have a little bit of an issue because it's a little bit too big. So, okay. But also, we need to get the shipping route in as well. So, ship path will come down here. And I'm going to have to kind of skim it around the edge. There we go. And bring this down to here. And then straight out. Okay, and then would that work there? It would almost work if I just then kind of... Apparently water's required. So here, is that enough? Cannot connect to route. So I might have to slightly push back this slight area now. So, what we'll do then, seeing as it's now going to be a little bit different, and it's going to be by 40, if I then send it by 40 on a diagonal, it's still technically the same distance, right? It's just I've got to make sure that I can get to the edge. So if I just do that, if I drop that there, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to put it kind of semi in the middle like that. So again, we can kind of maximize it. I'm going to use this here to kind of unbed the road. And then bring the road further out. That should be enough where it meets the middle. Reset the sea level one more time. And I'll do it again. Because we now have big waves flashing everywhere. That should be all okay. Pause again for a second because now that is technically on. Let's turn it off. And let's get these now connected up with power and water. So bring this directly down to here. And that's to there. So we've turned them all off, so we're not technically using them. Which is good. So now let's get the train track up and running. And then skedaddling out of here. It's a long one. And just to make sure it's not a one-way, so we can literally have it maybe passing through. I'll make it go underground. And then we'll have it go to the edge of the region over this side as well. Just so we get that little pass-through route. Okay? Sweet, mate. So, I also have the option to hook up this to a train line and this to a train line as well. But I don't think we'll use that method. We'll just kind of go for the planes, boats, trains. So, they're all ready to go then. It's just a case of me then turning one of them on, and then we can start exporting, you know, via that way. Now, we should have enough time passed by right now where we can kind of see how much our industries are making. So we're making a total profit as of right now between 8,000, 7,000, okay, 5,000, 7,000. I want to see what the average is. What is the average that we see? So it's hovering around the 7,000 mark at the minute, at the top end. It does go up to 12,000, 14,000. So if we say a bottom 5,000, top, you know, 16,000, 17,000. Again, it all depends on when we're exporting it. Oh, possibly pushing it up to 20,000 right now. So maybe we're just not finished yet on the exports. But you can see, okay, we're now floating around the high teens. 20 right now, 25, 26, 28. So maybe our full industry is not in full force just yet, so we still have to give it a little bit of time to pass by. But we can kind of get a gist for it of where it's going. 20,000, 23,000, good stuff. So we'll just watch it for a bit, and then we can kind of see the number. So we're now floating around the 20,000 mark. So between 10 and 30, that is where we currently are. It will now change once you open up one of our export areas. So are we comfortable to say it's around the 20,000 mark average right now? We'll go with that. So what we'll do first then is we'll turn on the airport. Now they'll use the airport and these export areas because technically, right, they are closer to these regions right now, the industries, than exporting via the edge of the road. So they technically are now closer. So we're just going to give it some time for them vehicles to make their way over. And then, again, we'll give it a few minutes to kind of simulate, and then we'll see where it kind of bottoms out. And again, I'm not adding anything to these. So I'm not increasing any production or anything like that. We're just solely allowing them to export via planes. Now that's going to be kind of interesting, isn't it? I haven't seen any boats come through yet anyway. So what's going on with the boats, boys? But it doesn't really matter, eh? Because we're not importing anything. It all comes down to us sending a boat out. So there goes our first plane then. Is it filled with cargo? Oh, it pretty much is. So off that goes. And let's see. So our exports have slowly died down a bit. That's probably because everyone's now choosing to go to the airport. But now as the planes start shooting the goods out, we're still averaging a 20,000. But then we should start to see more and more planes leaving. Let's kind of get it where we can kind of see the airport slightly. There we go. So up to the 30,000 right now, which is looking good. 30,000. We're hovering on the 30,000 quite a bit right now. So if we pushed it up by 10,000 on average, I know we've seen 30,000 before before we even opened up the airport. But again, as they're now shooting stuff out, planes are going. Planes are leaving right now. So we've got a bunch of planes now leaving, which is now more than we have done in quite some time. And by the time they fly to the edge of the region and export, we can then see how much money we're kind of getting from them. So it's kind of a waiting game. You see them leave, but you still got to wait for them to exit the region. And the sheer amount of vehicles trying to get to the airport now, you know, half the time, right, sometimes it can be a hindrance where you set up an export area, but it drops how many exports you get because of the amount of traffic trying to get there. But you see that there, guys? We went up to 40,000 at that point. So the high end we seen without the airport open was 30,000. Now we're kind of averaging around the 30,000 and we can push it up to 40,000 depending on how many planes fly out at what time. So that's good then. We've kind of increased the average by 10,000 and increased the high end by 10,000 as well. So it's added an extra 10,000 on our exports at peak time, which is pretty good. The only downside to it is you can't ship or we can't get rid of as many goods all at once. Because the planes only have like a small capacity and there's only one runway. So they're always constantly waiting and some planes have to wait for other planes to land. So let's just say then, on the average, we increased by 10,000 just by opening up the airport. So we'll let it all go back to normal slightly now then, to where no planes are coming in, no one's driving to export, and everyone goes back to exporting outside of the region. And then we'll open up. I think we'll do the trains next. We'll do the trains next and see what they do or how much they add on to it. So I have this mod called the Advanced Vehicle Options. And if I go to, where is it? Cargo plane. Or planes in general. Cargo plane. Sometimes it tells you the capacity. So it doesn't really show us the capacity here for the cargo plane. I know for the cargo train it shows us capacity of 15. Capacity of 1, so you kind of get an idea for that. And then the cargo ship has a capacity of 25, so the cargo ship definitely has a bigger capacity than any of the trains that we would have, but we can export via train a whole lot quicker than plane, so there's always that going for it as well. Now what is that vehicle doing then? Are these just the last few bits and bobs of vehicles just making their way over here? I think so, but have we kind of bottomed out again now? Yeah, we kind of have. So we've seen 40,000 was our high point. Let's now enable the train, or the cargo train terminal. And then give it a few minutes for everyone to start exporting from there. So this is going to produce a lot of trains from this. But the great thing is they can go in both directions. So hopefully they utilize both sides of the track. that'd be quite interesting to see him do that. So we're just waiting for all the excavator. They're definitely coming through now. I can see a couple of oil tanker trucks. And it's also going to bring stuff in as well, because we can now obviously officially import stuff too. But I'll start dropping all the vehicles in. It'll give it a good 5 minutes before we're in the thick of it, in the deep of it, where all the vehicles are coming in and out. So there goes our first train, and from the get-go, it's 100% full. So I expect to see a lot of 100% full trains leaving the station. As all these guys coming in right now, there's a big bulk of vehicles coming in again. And hopefully our second train is also like 100% full. Yep, that is as well. So, this point then, we can actually physically see the vehicles going out. I know we could see the planes before, but we can actually now, you know, pay attention to it. I could pay back these loans as well, but I'm not going to just yet. So, 18,000, another export is just gone out of the region. So, 21,000, 23,000 coming in right now. So, let's see how that area is doing. Another train has just passed us there. If I try and zoom in slightly. There we go, 26,000. So we're coming up to the 30,000s right now. As more and more get exported and more vehicles come in. Off they go. So we're really just kind of watching out to see what the average is now going to be. Again, it takes a good while before we got a consistent amount of exports leaving and whatnot. But, yeah, 30,000 average, 40,000 high is what we've seen from the planes. Now, as we're watching this, I'm not really seeing any big upturns. And that's kind of interesting. That is kind of interesting how I'm not seeing any, like, many big upturns in the exports. If anything, it's really slowed down. Now, is that because the vehicles can't load on the train as quick as they can the planes? And then is it also because the planes could leave the region quicker than the trains, thus mean we could export more a week? So even though we couldn't hold as much on the planes, they could get it out of the region a lot quicker than the trains right now? That's interesting. I would never have thought that. But the way it's going right now, we're up to 30,000. So maybe we just need to give it a little bit of time. Maybe I'm just not, you know, putting enough time into this. But we're up to this 30,000 there. So we reached a high of 30,000. Still 10,000 off the high of the planes. But the average is now a little bit higher. So I think the trains have now found their full swing right now. 30,000 there. 34,000. Alright, it's definitely increasing there. So the average is, again, slightly increasing. But I'm not seeing those big highs like we see with the planes. And then there's a lot of vehicles definitely exporting. So you can argue almost every train leaving is going to be 100% full. But at the minute, the planes are winning the exports. Unless it can really shoot back up right now, these trains. But seeing the average consistently either on 30,000 or lower shows you that on average we're not making as much money as we once was exporting via the planes. That's interesting to know. That really is. So what we'll do then is we'll turn that off. So I'm going to say the highs, we seen a high of 34,000 and I reckon the average was between 25 and 26,000. So still, you're getting more than just allowing the vehicles to drive out of the region. You're still 100% getting more on the trains, but for the most part, the planes are slightly winning that battle. Now, the one that I think is going to win the most has been the ships, and that's why I've left it to the very end. Because I always feel like, I mean, when you think of shipping, it has it in its name, ship. So you're going to automatically assume the ships are going to win on this. That's what you're automatically going to assume. I'm surprised that the planes beat the trains. That's took me by surprise. But then you got to think to yourself how much it costs to upkeep this versus the train. But then again, you've got all the rail as well. That's what many people don't think. Oh, you know, they think, oh, it's, you know, planes are more expensive than the trains. But you got to remember, you're also paying for the rail as well. So add that into consideration. So that's interesting by itself, that the planes beat the trains. So are we back to normal right now? Yeah, back on the 18s there. 19s. Yes, 16s. Yeah, 14s. Okay, we're kind of back to normal then. So let's open up then the cargo hub. Whew. Now this is going to be interesting. So this is going to take a while. Now this, quite arguably, is the slowest way to export the goods. Obviously, don't include driving out of the region. Forget that for now. But out of these three, the planes is the quickest, trains second, ships third. They're the slowest out of the three right now. But the difference is they can hold literally almost double the trains. And I don't think the cargo planes can hold much. They could be like triple, even potentially quadruple the ships. So you can get quadruple on the ships compared to the planes as well. But again, it's a lot slower, but you can obviously have more thrown onto it. So we'll give this a little bit of time to pass then, because just like the trains there, we have to give it a fair few minutes to kind of get up and running. And we're probably going to have to give the ships even longer, just because of, you know, what they have to kind of do for us. So they're slowly coming in. We're going to wait for our first ship. Is it 100%? Oh, it's close. It's definitely close. But as we're getting more and more vehicles heading over here right now, we got a solid little export area. So seeing that we got a queue leading into it is pretty good, because that means we then have a consistent flow of exports heading out. And yeah, this is going to be fairly interesting. It really is. So as of right now, 18,000. Has that ship gone out yet? Can I catch it up? It's just there. You can see it on the right hand side. Oh, we're almost shooting up to 30,000 straight away. Right, how far has that ship got to go? Okay, not too far now. So that was a nice little big boost we've seen from the get-go. Ship is now out of the region. There we go. I don't know whether it leaving it then equates to us making money, or whether we make money from it leaving the boat. I'm not too sure how that potentially works, but now we're in the full flow. As you can now see, the harbour is consistently getting traffic coming in. And that's now averaging at 20,000, which again is pretty interesting. And then we just got to give it a moment or two to fully get up and running. To truly get up and running with all the shipping and stuff out right now. So do you reckon that's holding up the vehicles? Do you reckon I should slightly extend the road a bit? Right, I've extended the road a bit there just in case that was causing any issues. So we got a better flow of traffic now going in. Okay. I'm up to still averaging the 20,000s. I want to see where these highs kind of come out at. It can't be that the planes was the best method. It can't be. And we can't say, oh yeah, because it's technically closer. But when you go it via how many studs in a road, they're all the same distance. But we have a bigger queue for the shipping than we did for the others. Now that's interesting. But we can't get as much of it out as quick. Again, it's probably down to the fact that the weeks are passing by quicker. Oh, 30,000! Holy smokes! 34,000? 38? Are we going to see a 40,000? 40,000, there we go, boys. There we go right now. So the averages are now above 30,000 as we're now consistently exporting. Okay, dipped a bit there. But this is now rivaling the airport. That was 100% rivaling the airport right there. Damn, boys. That's crazy. That was crazy then. At that moment in time. But we still got to bring it up, the averages. As you know, just glance and watch it. It's pretty cool to see that was then. Going up to the 40-odd thousand. So are we on the incline again right now? Is there still exports? Look at that amount of exports heading out right now. Get those ships out of here, boys. Out of here, I tell you. Right, and then we're up to nearly 35,000. Are we going to pass up to 40,000 again? 35, 30. It's higher for a longer time than it was for the airports. So I'm thinking that the ships might be a little bit superior. but they do drop down to lows quite often, and that's probably down to the fact that it does take a while for the ships to leave the region and kind of get out of here. So I think it's a head-to-head battle with ships and planes. I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought trains would have been like a good competitor. It didn't really go the way that I thought it would. So I think on the average, the planes are still the most efficient and quickest way to make the most money from your exports. Then it's definitely the ships, then the trains, which is really interesting. Now, like I said, you can do all the arguing in the world, like, you know, you've got to make it efficient lines, like you've got to have the train line, you know, in each of the industries and hooking them all up to one another. They've all got to complement each other. Granted, I do get that. I completely understand. But when it comes down to the base value, if you're trying to save for your first export, maybe, I mean, if you can afford an airport, go with that. If not, ships first. Trains, I reckon, right, trains, as brilliant as they are, they should only be used, right, to get the goods from the industry areas to either the airport or the cargo hub there, the cargo port. Not as a standalone, that's the way that you export your goods. You should use trains to complement your export of your airplanes and your ports right now. But again, it kind of switches things up, doesn't it? So, while I've learned, and I hope you've kind of learned something too then, when they're kind of placed the same distance away from the industry areas, planes come out on top, ships come out on second, and then trains come out on third. That's really interesting. That really is. And it can't be because the airport is the closest one to it, because obviously the roads are the same length, and if that was the case, then trains would have came second. But yeah, those highs were pretty high for the cargo on the ship in there. So that's a pretty fun little cool experiment. If I turn them all on right now, obviously one's going to get favoured over the others, 100%. And I'm kind of impressed with the outcome. I really am. But again, if you're trying to create an efficient route, always use your cargo hubs, cargo airport hub, cargo shipping hub. Always use them as the end export, but always use the train line at the start. So they load all the goods on at the train takes it to one of these. That's always the way that you want to kind of be doing it in general anyway, if you want it the most efficient way. But in terms of what ships quicker, what gets the goods out as fast, what makes us the most amount of cash money moolah, I'm going to have to give it to the airport. Now, in terms of how much it costs us to kind of maintain these, 2,400 for the ships, 1,440 for the train, 4,000 for the airport. So yeah, it is a lot more money. But when it comes to it, look at how much money I'm now making when all three of them are enabled. I'm averaging at 30,000 minimum. So, you know, what does that show you? The average is 30,000. When they all work together, it's beautiful. You can probably up it more by putting the cargo closer because you can ship it out better. But that's an argument for another day. But guys, let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you thought about those three. What you thought was the most, the quickest and the most easiest way to make the most money from just a standalone export. Let me know in the comment section down below. And let me know what your kind of export of choice is. I would really like to know what everyone's using the most of. But for someone who doesn't use airports that often, that's kind of now changed my mind slightly. Because I'm always someone who builds their cities based on shipping. I mean, Fishtown, Oiltown, take those for example. And I always use trains to get the goods from the industries to the ships. I don't really take advantage of the cargo airport, but I might just have to integrate that a whole lot more. So money-wise, 36,000, 38,000, it's doing pretty good. We're going to have to end it for here, guys. Hope you did enjoy this fun little experiment. If you did, smash that like button down below. And until next time, guys, I'll see you well soon. So, good.